St.Beseenya is a two-act play set in 2018 about the most vulnerable people in America, the residents of nursing homes before the pandemic. Over 40% of the hundreds of thousands of deaths from the coronavirus have been from this population. Our cast is large, so our characters are wearing different colored t-shirts to make them easier to follow. This performance will be recorded for later viewing. I will introduce our cast. Please turn your video on and raise your hand. Maggie Miller is being played by Regina. Betty Fucci by Ellie. Cybil and Loretta and Frances are being played by Kira, and Frances is being played by Talithia. Loretta LaRusso has no speaking roles. Clarissa is being played by Daniella. Juanita Haldt by Meagan and Nadine Romero by Meagan. Eleanor Reyes and Suzanne Bristol by Robin. Ellie and Anita are playing Joe Allison. Dr. Bradshaw is by John. Michael Shaw is by David Zinke. Reggie by Marcus Wilson. Clyde Perkins by David Gunter. Stanley Fucci by Sheldon Metz. And Charlie Litchfield by David S. Victor is also playing Charlie at the end of the play. Act 1, Scene 1. A female patient, Maggie Miller, in a dark hospital room, sign orthopedics. You may want to turn off your videos if you're not on. Slowly tries to get back to bed from the bathroom with her IV pole, her left leg immobilizer on, and her walker for support. She eventually makes it, nearly falling. A red call light is blinking. The sound of high heels is approaching. Her daughter Clarissa walks into the room, then rushes to Maggie's aid.
Mom, did you try to get up by yourself? Have you forgotten that you've already broken your leg? Do you want to stay in the hospital forever? Come on, Maggie.
Helps Maggie back into bed.
Had to do it, Clarissa, or wet my willies. It takes too long for them to get in here. Takes even longer if they have to swim upstream. Oh, ow, take it easy there. My hip's broke.
So please ask sooner. You shouldn't put any weight on that leg for 6 weeks.
Hospital aide Cybil hurries in.
Mrs. Miller, you know you can't walk safely yet. Let me help you get settled back into bed.
She does and turns off the call light. Maggie struggles to get settled into bed comfortably.
Oh, so what was it like in the Bahamas this season, Cybil? With global warming and all? You could have stayed here.
Mrs. Miller, I am so sorry. You know how busy we are in orthopedics, ma'am.
Oh, more than most. I'm probably the one patient you have who's not over-medicated. Thanks for showing up.
You're most welcome. I'm sure I will let you two visit.
Maggie, Mom, you okay now? So I guess I have to be the bearer of bad news. All of the usual don't shoot the messenger by their expiration date warnings apply, okay?
Oh, then how smart are you to hide behind that pile of shot messengers? Housekeeping is having trouble keeping up. They're stacking them like cordwood.
Mom, there is no easy way to put this, but we just can't take care of you at our place in the shape you're in right now. That's just how it is.
Oh, so what does that mean?
It means that for a while you will need to go into a skilled nursing facility, a SNF, and then we'll see when you get strong enough to get out what happens. We'll do our best to get you back into a place of your own.
Hell, why don't you just shoot me now? An SNF? You know you're talking about a nursing home, right? I loathe bingo. I'm an incredibly private person. I probably just broke my best shuffleboard hip.
If hips are important in shuffleboard.
It looks like they might be. And the only people I know in nursing homes are dying, demented zombies with poor dental plans. Sad, but true, it had to be said.
Thanks for that visual, Mom. But what part of
And who will take care of the cats?
needing to go to the nursing home?
Yes, I heard you. And isn't it bad enough to be dumped in some zombie warehouse, but that I might not ever even get home? Let's talk about that. We're talking about your home because, of course, I don't have one now.
Okay, I have to say this once, Maggie, and I've kept my mouth shut up until right now. But better planning by you and Dad really might have helped, Mother. So what do you think? New digs? Let's bust out of this pop stand before you get hurt in here. A hospital is no place for a sick person.
No, I'm not liking the thought of digs and nursing homes in the same conversational thread, okay? And I think I'd rather be physician-assisted suicide with a pre-medical student in the bottom of her class than go to a nursing home. That's what I think.
Nice, Mom.
And finally, in my defense, it's a little bit difficult to plan better financially when your father's medical bills are eating up our mortgage.
Okay, well then, Mom, I guess it's settled. And I was so afraid you'd object.
Excuse me? I'm objecting, Clarissa, in the strongest way possible. What would your dear father say if he knew you were putting me into cold storage in some nursing home meat locker? He promised me that it would never happen, and you damn well know it.
La 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 la. I can't hear you, Mom. That was his promise to you, non-transferable to the next generation. Dear Daddy would have taken care of this, sort of like Dear Daddy took care of just about everything and everyone on God's green earth, right?
Clarissa!
But sad to say, Dear Daddy's gone, Mom. So you're stuck with Steve, the Clarissa team, and she'll do what she's got to do for the greater good. That means my hubby's good too, as well. Ooh, speaking of which, I have to go, Mom. I got to pick him up from work.
Only daughter. Let's talk this over.
Stop it with the only daughter crap, okay? That doesn't work anymore. Your hospital discharge planner says this will happen in the morning. Maggie, you have been accepted. Lucky you at St.Beseenya. I have to go there to make arrangements.
St.Beseenya? That dead space for lost souls? That ghetto aunt who broomed to hell? That's reeking death trap? That Hotel California franchisee? Really, Clarissa?
Please don't be so negative, Mom. Yes, St.Beseenya, that well-regarded skilled nursing facility across town and near the old neighborhood. It has a bed with your name on it. It'll be a soft place to land for the next few weeks.
Lucky me, huh? My very own cot with my very own bedpan, and quite particular bed bugs, I'm sure. I'll give them each names. Well, there's Fred, and here's Ethel. Oh, and here's little Ricky.
Put on your war paint early so you get it done right, Mom. You'll want to look good. Oh, and the cats are in the boarding home for now and loving every catnip-filled minute.
Oh, Clarissa, you've boarded both cats. You've boarded your mother. You have more boarding plants than Long John Silver. Life must be good.
Avast ye, scurvy wench. It's a red moon rising. Be ready to cast off at 9 bells.
Clarissa blows Maggie a kiss, leaves the room, and turns out the light.
Who's next to be boarded? Your husband? Hey, I'm sure Howard's bored to death already.
Play fair, Mom. And bored is a transitive verb. Conjugate it. Howard may be bored. God love him, but you will be boarded tomorrow morning, in fact. Goodbye.
Never raise a kid to be an English major. Now I'm on the ice floe, shoved out to sea, bound for the edge of the world dropout called St.Beseenya. What have I done to deserve this fate? And such an ungrateful child. And who cares if I'm scared to death?
Act 1, Scene 2. Single-story nursing home with the main nursing desk in front and back a little from center. A greeter, Frances, is sitting at the desk with Dr. Bradshaw sitting to her right. The nursing desk is prominent with the St.Beseenya name. Engine noises as we hear an ambulance arrive with Maggie Miller on board. Several people, residents of the home, are on the periphery watching in their wheelchairs or walkers as Maggie gets rolled out of the ambulance in a wheelchair with an extended leg rest, still with her leg immobilizer on, with 2 plastic bags of her belongings set upon her lap. She's brought by Reggie into the building to the nursing desk.
It looks as though our new admission is arriving, the one with the broken hip.
Silence as people work. Maggie is rolled up to the desk in her wheelchair.
Hey, Francis, what room are we looking for?
Who's your patient, Reggie?
This is
He gestures at the covered Maggie as he looks at his clipboard.
Mrs. Miller, Margaret Miller.
Good morning to you both. Room 204A, just down the hall.
Reggie begins to push Maggie stage right.
Whoa, wait a minute. What is the A part, Ms. Francis?
She struggles out from under her bags.
Hello under there, Mrs. Miller. Good morning. Welcome to St. Delia's Serene Nirvana, or St. Beseenya for short. You are in the A bed in room 204, the bed closest to the door.
And how many beds are there on this wide open TB ward? Let me guess. A is for AIDS, B is for botulism, through L for leprosy, no doubt.
How funny. No, just A and B, dear. That's all. There are no private rooms here, if that's your question. Each of our rooms are semi-private.
Which means no privacy, right, dear? Nothing to call my own? No, my question, dear, really is, why am I here? What's the hell's happened?
Pardon me, Mrs. Miller?
I'm trying to figure this all out. And by the way, did I forget to mention that now I've seen your digs, I'm ready to go home right now. Reggie, let's reload.
I'm sure that I heard you say, why is this happening to you, dear? I mean, Mrs. Miller, but we're not allowed to get existential, ma'am. This is St. Beseenya, and places like this happen to people every day. I guess because life happens to people, Mrs. Miller. God's truth.
Oh my goodness, a philosophy theology double major. You can spot them 2 thoughts coming, usually because there's so much lag time.
Anyway, as far as going home, it would appear from your transfer sheet that for now there was nowhere else for you to go. So welcome to this happening place, Maggie Miller. Welcome to your new home, St. Beseenya. Ta-da!
2 cronies in wheelchairs in the lobby join together, Nadine and Betty, and roll up.
We can't help but sympathize with you, honey. I'm Nadine.
I think I remember that I was new here once too, if I can be of any help. My name is Betty.
That's so hard to imagine, you're being new. Anywhere in some galaxy long ago and far away, no doubt.
Nadine and Betty look at each other.
A gaggle of my peers. Well, hell, certainly. Show me to the 204A, the A that's specifically not for AIDS, sweet. Tally effing ho, Reggie, let's get this done.
Sweet.
Off they go. Greeter Francis walks away, Maggie goes off down the hall, and Dr. Bradshaw, who's been sitting at the other side of the nursing desk, sort of out of play in his white lab coat, while people wander in and out while he works through a stack of papers.
A low potassium, high sodium, high potassium, hemoglobin too low, dioxin level higher than her negative x-ray. Here's one, but given the limits of the portable technique in the patient's body habitus, suggest MRI of the great toe if further detail is needed, or if my kids want to go to an Ivy League school. Oh my God, what has happened in medicine today?
Social worker Joe walks up.
I suppose that's a rhetorical question, Dr. Bradshaw. Hey, Doc, Mrs. Romero refused all of her medicines today.
And why is that a social work issue, Joe?
She says she doesn't need them in this lifetime. I worry about her.
Oh, the hell you say. That does sound a little worrisome. So essential medications have now become a lifestyle issue, huh? Concierge medicine has arrived in the SNFs. Let's go talk to her before she calls the governor or CNN or Oprah again.
Buck and Joe walk up to patient Nadine, now sitting in her wheelchair out in the hall stage left, still muttering after her encounter with Maggie.
In a galaxy long ago and far away? What planet is that alien bitch from?
Nadine, excuse me, but why won't you take your medications?
Good morning, Dr. Bradshaw. I don't take my medications because they are prescribed wrong. My condition is too delicate for these strong medications.
Really? So you are the only person on the planet whose blood pressure goes up with a beta blocker?
Not the only one. You can check that out on Dr. Google.
So when you take it at night, why doesn't your blood pressure go up?
I take it at night.
Twice a day, morning and night.
Well, I didn't know that.
What about these other meds? Your stool softener?
Don't need it.
Sure you do. You're on iron. That makes you constipated.
No, I refuse that too.
But you're anemic.
Usually not.
You are now. Hip surgery can do that to a person.
Well, I'm not taking it. It makes me constipated. Then I'd have to take a stool softener. Then I'd have to go to the bathroom late at night. And with my low blood pressure, I'd fall. I'd break my hip. But that's what happened the last time.
What about your purple pill?
No heartburn.
Your aspirin?
Don't need it. Don't want it. It gives me heartburn. Makes me anemic. Say, Doc, didn't you study this stuff?
So Nadine, will you take your beta blocker twice a day?
To keep my blood pressure up in the day and down at night?
What? Okay, whatever. Whatever you wish.
Okay, if you will stop all those other pills.
Done. Joe, she really doesn't need every single one of them. A good diet will help a lot, just takes longer. I will ask the nurses to document her refusals. We'll follow her labs and see what happens. Thanks, Nadine. I appreciate your eventual cooperation.
Thanks, Doc.
Joe and Bradshaw head back to the nursing desk.
They don't do this much bargaining in the Middle East, for God's sake.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Doolittle.
Wow. Doc,
Yes?
I don't mean to get personal, but is your hearing okay?
Not so bad as you noticed, Joe. Why?
Well, why were you yelling at Nadine?
I guess that's why I get the big bucks, Joe. Nadine, God love her, simply can't hear thunder. She told me so earlier this week.
Doc, she hears just fine.
Then why would she tell me that she doesn't?
Who's her BFF, her best friend for nearly forever?
What is this, 20 questions? Betty Fucci.
And what did you just get for Betty last week, Doc?
New hearing aids. Oh, of course.
Sometimes you got to connect the dots, you know?
Got it. I guess I've been played once again.
Oh, like a ukulele, sad to say.
I swear these folks are way ahead of me, Joe.
They did have a head start, Doc.
Some of them.
Oh, most of them.
Spoken like a damn social worker.
I've been called worse.
So how much of my big bucks do I owe you?
Act 1, Scene 3, focus moves to stage left. Eleanor with a walker and Clyde in a chair are huddled in the lobby at a table. Michael is walking up with his cane and sits down in a third chair.
I have to say I've given this probably too much thought, Eleanor. We all agree that we'll not likely get out of St.Beseenya alive.
Well, I never assumed differently. I plan on living here until I don't you?
Wow, Clyde, can I cut in? Sure, we'll all die here. The odds are extremely high that you're going to die wherever where you happen to be when your heart stops.
And good morning to you too, Michael.
But do you have to dwell on it all the time? You make this sound like a hospice in a prison, in lockdown. We can leave any time.
Maybe I'm a little bored, Michael? This gives me something useful to do. Since this is where I'll spend the rest of my life, let me dwell on it a little bit.
To your heart's content. But while you're dwelling on such unhappy thoughts, isn't there something to be said for life and living? The season's ending, playoffs are coming up, life goes on.
I see nothing wrong with Clyde's death dwell in denial, Michael.
You guys are the ones in denial. I'm the only one here who is facing reality head on. It's the rhino in the china shop. You can't ignore it when it gets this close.
Yeah, you're facing it relentlessly, recklessly even, like a mouse in the headlights, frozen by the light.
Oh, you're so funny, Michael.
It isn't so funny anymore, Clyde. Was your mom scared by one of my family's hearses so many decades ago while she was pregnant with you?
How weird that you would ask that. As a retired mortician, you may have become immune to these issues. Tell you what, why don't you just find a cure?
Lunatic. A cure for death would ruin my business, Clyde. But if I find a cure, then would you be obsessed with? What would you be obsessed with? Taxes?
It's not an obsession, but it becomes more real with every passing year. I didn't come here to die, but remember, neither did my dear Emma.
Clyde, we miss Emma too. But is this healthy for you? What would she have wanted?
Familiarity breeds contempt, Eleanor, so I deal with it to become familiar with it. I want to eventually be contemptuous of it with all due respect.
But if you're not afraid of it, why doesn't it have a name? This it stuff makes it sound spooky.
It does have so many names. It is called a fatality, a mortality, a killing, a loss, an end, a demise, a celestial transition, assuming room temperature, to be deceased, to croak, to buy the farm, to end badly, to cease, passing on and pushing up.
It is boring me to death, Clyde. Maybe that's your goal. I can see it on my tombstone now. Michael Shaw, cause of death, bored to it by Clyde Perkins.
Death is what I embrace so as not to be consumed. I get to work with it, explore it, make it mine. All mine! Yeah, all right. I'll lighten up. But we're surrounded by so many fragile, vulnerable, frail old people, it's hard not to think about.
But Clyde, you're making this living about death.
Hey, I say go for it, Clyde. Just keep this death concern of yours to yourself from here on out, okay? Don't spread the joy. Keep it private and simple.
Oh, thanks for your understanding, Michael.
Hey, I understand. Focus on one easy, special, personal, and memorable ending of your very own life and be there. Make it so.
Michael.
You're becoming an expert at your own very special form of OCD, obsessively concerned about dying.
Michael, I am obsessed that something good should come of all this.
That was so uplifting, Clyde. You just keep going where no man has ever gone, you hear? And step on it. Sooner is better. Even morticians have mouths to feed.
Michael, Clyde is a visionary.
Eleanor, Michael is a dork with a death wish, a death dork.
Just because I'm painfully in touch with our frailties doesn't mean I can't hear you, Michael.
Oops. Sorry, bud. I knew that. But you know what? You are a death dork. Death dork. The dork of death.
Eleanor slaps him on the arm as they continue to walk away. Act 1, Scene 4, Maggie's room, where she's finding her way around in a wheelchair, uneasily in pain. unpacking her belongings from 2 plastic bags onto her bed as she talks to herself.
Well, as it turns out, meter greeter Francis, I do have a roommate with the name, apparently, Eleanor, whomever she is. I guess that the other piece of news is it doesn't take long to unpack anymore.
As she unpacks her clothes stiffly, Maggie stands on one leg to hang an enema bag on the hook on the bathroom door, flops back into the wheelchair, and breaks down into tears. Reader meter Francis on the PA system at the nursing station.
All residents, bingo will be ready soon. Are you? At 3 p.m. in the activities room. Be there. I will. In person. G, come on down. O to be a winner. Bingo. At 3.
Francis reseats herself and Dr. Bradshaw, seated nearby, rolls his eyes.
Oh my God, it is happening, isn't it? Oh.
Act 1, Scene 5. Dr. Bradshaw is standing at the nursing station desk viewing a chart as patient Charlie rolls up in his wheelchair.
Hey, Doc, I got this earworm. Heard about it on National Public Radio.
Oh, that sounds horrible. I think I saw that movie. Run, Charlie, run. So what the hell is an earworm? And is there a remedy? Now take a step back if you're contagious, man. Epidemics are gruesome things, but the CDC is a hotline and a plan for everything that could ever possibly happen, you know?
Yeah, 1-800-earworm. Yeah, I got that. An earworm, Doc, is when I keep hearing this same song stuck in my head over and over again.
Okay then. We'll go from an orange back down to a green alert then. What's the song?
The Girl from Pasadena. The girl from Pasadena.
You like it?
Oh,
you like it?
Well, yeah, Doc, it's a good song.
So what's the problem? Have you listened to the stuff playing on the radio these days? I recommend you just enjoy your private performance.
Oh, good point, Doc. In living stereo, huh? Well, thanks. Then I'm okay, huh?
Pretty much, Charlie.
Oh, thank you, Doc. Oh, say, you gonna bill me for this?
My medical advice or my NPR advice?
Yep.
Charlie, God willing, I'll keep on billing. With all of life's uncertainties, isn't it nice to know that there is something reliable, something a person can actually depend upon?
Like death and taxes and erectile dysfunction.
Exactly. Add doctor bills to that short list. Any reason I shouldn't?
Well, there is the simple fact that you didn't even know what an earworm was 5 minutes ago, Doc, right? So bill gently, will you?
I doubt that there is a billing code for earworm anyway, buddy. I tell you what, you can charge me for my continuing medical education. We'll use the barter system, Charlie. You just keep educating me and I'll keep taking good care of you.
Well, yeah, Doc, probably okay. For a little while longer, I guess. But please don't use me as your only source of medical information, okay? Aim a little higher.
Dr. B smiles and watches as Charlie rolls off, lights to gray as Dr. Bradshaw leaves. Actor 1, Scene 6. RN Suzanne comes to the nursing desk well after dark, unloading her things, lots of them. Thermos, snacks, sweater, portable fan, magazines, and her laptop computer, etc.
Suzanne, you're late again.
Sorry, Juanita. Too many stoplights, not enough time.
I noticed you had time to get your nails done.
Hey, are you my mom? Stoplights have some redeeming social value, I guess. How do they look?
Great, as usual. Say, you've got an admission coming in tonight.
Geez, why can't they send patients from the hospital on the day shift? What's coming? Another vampire with a blood disorder? He can't be seen in the daylight?
They just couldn't get her ready for discharge at the hospital early enough to have me do your work for you, I guess.
Thanks. So, another evening admission. Isn't it enough that I show up in this hope-forsaken place? They expect me to work too.
Suzanne, very funny. Remember, for the love of the game.
Yeah, right. What's the patient's name?
Miss Loretta LaRusso.
Italiana.
Who knows? Maybe her husband's name? What difference does it make?
After dark? You know what that'll mean on her first night after being dumped here. The drama.
You don't know that. Maybe, maybe not. We will see, won't we? Anyway, enjoy. Not my job now, sunshine. My kids are waiting.
Light fades, Juanita leaves. Suzanne has picked up a magazine and is reading. After a minute, a patient, Mrs. LaRusso, comes in a wheelchair, accompanied by an ambulance attendant, Reggie.
Hey, Suzanne, here's Mrs. LaRusso, as promised, 6 p.m. Which bed?
Mrs. Loretta LaRusso? Well, we are so happy that she's here. She goes into bed 219B, a semi-private room at the end of the hall. I'll be down in just a little bit to check in on her, Reggie. Thanks.
Thanks.
The wheelchair with the patient goes by.
I'll give her 30 minutes before she checks herself out.
Suzanne starts to busy herself with some paperwork. Raphael comes by and they look longingly at each other, and he slips into the room marked laundry. Within just a minute, Suzanne straightens up at her desk, looks around, and stealthily slips into the laundry room. The attendant leaves without the wheelchair. There's a fair amount of amorous noise in the laundry room before the wailing starts from Mrs. LaRusso down the hall. She is seen in her wheelchair off to the side of the stage crying. After some time, Suzanne comes out of the laundry room, blouse askew, and Raphael slinks away, fastening his belt.
Mother of God, Mrs. LaRusso, quit it now!
Suzanne troops down to meet her new admission, tucking things in. Fade to gray. Act 1, Scene 7. The next morning, the lights open up at the nursing station. Joe and Doc are sitting at the nursing station. Joe hears someone approaching in high heels.
I hear heels of great authority.
Joe hisses to Bradshaw, who slides down in his chair a bit. Clarissa Miller strides briskly up to the desk and brightly accosts Dr. Bradshaw.
You're Dr. Bradshaw, correct?
Dr. Bradshaw nods affirmation as he scoots up to his full height.
Good morning. Yes, I'm him.
Good morning, doctor. My mother is your new patient in room 204A, Maggie Miller. And while she's here recuperating from her broken leg, she's come due for, let's see here, her mammogram, her annual pap smear, her DEXA scan, her lipid panel, annual EKG, podiatry visit, manicure, and colonoscopy. Actually, past due for that one. She's clearly not been a compliant patient, as they say.
But
Clarissa Moore. Clarissa, please. I'm her POA. Dr. Bradshaw, I'm not saying that it's all Maggie's fault. She had her hands full with a husband with heart failure, his terminal care, and all of those medical bills. She got behind, and they lost the house. It was truly a hot mess.
But Clarissa.
But now, as long as she's in here rehabilitating, I thought with the faculties, transportation, and with so much spare time on her hands, we could just go ahead and get these things done. I've made out this appointment schedule for her and for you.
She hands a paper over to Bradshaw, who recovers and smiles as he accepts them.
But ma'am, Clarissa, your mother's here for her fractured hip.
I know. In fact, I said that. Terrible fracture, comminuted, no weight bearing, forever, it seems like.
No, what I'm saying is that she is here for her fractured hip for only a few, maybe 6, maybe 8 weeks. We can't possibly get all of that work done in that brief period, and she's still too uncomfortable, but that's part of it.
Really? And what's the other part?
Maybe she could get her primary care doctor to follow up on these. This nursing home would be billed for the cost of every one of those tests.
Oh, and what makes me think that it's all about money? Of course. No, doctor, you don't seem to understand what I'm saying. Is that this recent widow will be living here for the rest of her earthly existence, is my guess.
Wow, I see.
She just doesn't know it yet. I've studied this from every possible angle, and there isn't any other way to get it done. In the meantime, I couldn't even ever seem to get her to make time to go to the doctor and to take care of herself till now. But you're her doctor. It might be easier for her coming from you.
Excuse me, please, Clarissa, but does Mrs. Miller know this? She said only this morning that she was likely to be going home to your house after discharge.
It's Ms. Moore, and who are you? And what about my mother's HIPAA privacy rights don't you respect? This is personal stuff we're discussing.
Well, good morning to you as well. I'm Allison, the social worker who's assigned to the rehab unit, and I'm pretty well aware of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act.
Good for you. Social workers should be, right?
Right. However, I believe you're the one who walked up to us to talk about your mother's care. You introduced yourself as Clarissa. It is nice to meet you, Ms. Moore.
Good morning.
Now, as I said, it was only this morning that your mom said to me that she was maybe going home to your house after her discharge.
You know, my mom says a lot of things that wishing won't make true. It's a lifelong flaw in her character, this wishing. I wish she'd quit that. But the day that my mother moves into my house will be good, doctor.
She leans over to look at Joe's name badge.
Ms. MSW, maybe good social worker. It will be a very cold day in the deep, deep, really deep South, as they say. Hell, actually. I need to make that very clear.
And not just clear to us, right? You'll tell your mom?
Oh, I'll eventually get Maggie to understand. So we'll plan on getting these things done on your new long-term care resident then. Thank you so much. I have a copy. Goodbye.
Thanks so much. Oh, brother. Oh, this is not going to make Ms. Miller any happier than she already is.
Whoa, like you said. And what a force of nature is that one? You know, Doc, while depression is a bad thing, I can see that investing my life savings in Prozac was the wisest financial decision I've ever made. As we get older, the hits just keep on coming.
Social workers investing in anything like more on me, Joe, but antidepressants seem like a conflict of interest. I'll have to think about the essays for that. Anyway, don't forget Viagra.
I didn't know you invested, Doc.
Buy stock? Hell, I don't buy stock. I'd be an idiot to buy stock. There are too many other ways for a doc to lose money. But I do feel like I own the company.
Way too much information, really.
Lights fade. Act 1, Scene 8. Maggie wheels her wheelchair back to her room, having just finished dinner, to find her previously unmet roommate Eleanor standing with her back to her, hands on her hip, looking at Maggie's enema bottle hanging on the bathroom door. Eleanor turns around with her walker with Maggie's enema bottle in her hand to see Maggie sitting there in her wheelchair, open-mouthed.
Well, so much for a person's privacy. Let me guess, you must be my soon-to-be ex-roommate. Apparently, Eleanor? What gives you the right?
Well, hello. You can only be Maggie with the Maggie the malcontent I've heard so much about, with the audacity to hang this monstrosity up in my face.
Well, how am I supposed to know your particular phobias?
That we have a history, a gadget like this and me? No way that you could, I suppose. Yes, I'm your roommate, Eleanor. Nice to finally meet you. We need to talk. It sounds like we've got some things in common.
It sounds like one of the most important things we have in common is not having anything in common with anyone else here.
I wouldn't rush to judgment. With time, you may change your mind, Maggie. I've endured worse places and harder times.
Well, tell me about it. Been there, done them, some myself.
But it's certainly possible that you and I share more than gastroenterologists, diverticulitis, bulking agents, and widowhood. Speaking of bulking agents, I'll have to introduce you to my family next week.
Fade to dark as the two begin conversing animatedly. Eleanor sitting on the bed, Maggie in her wheelchair. The scene ends with them both laughing as they drop the enema bag into the wastebasket. Act 1, Scene 9. Charlie is sitting across the stage in the lobby in his wheelchair with his buddy Stanley. They're discussing life. Herb rolls up, sitting some distance away in silhouette in his wheelchair.
Hi, Herb.
Herb slowly waves back. Charlie turns to Stanley.
Sad. He used to have such a good mind. Now, wait. Oh, yeah, sure. I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I still look, Stanley. It's a habit I need to break. It's becoming, not becoming, you know? I'm like one of those old dogs that chases a car with no idea what to do with it if he ever caught one.
Wouldn't remember, you mean?
Yeah, well, true. But tell me, don't you still enjoy watching a lovely young wave breeze by?
Well, I'm a happily married man, Charlie, but I am in a bit of a definition crisis here. Define young for me. Say, define breezing by while you're at it, for God's sake.
Well, all of those are good points.
With my vision, define watching. Everything is so damn conditional these days. Anyway, I'm sure Betty doesn't mind if I.
Well, don't overthink this, man. Wasn't it Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes who said, to be 80 again?
Yeah. So we're talking young-spirited women then, gifted with just the right amount of maturity. That hip silver sneakers sweet spot kind of crowd.
Yeah, well, the ones who hate getting their AARP cards unannounced in the mail until they need to buy something at a discount. Additional aging, I think they call it.
Yeah. I was wondering, do you think it works the same way for them? Do you think they watch us breeze by?
Wheeze by, you mean women, right?
Hey, that's what we were talking about, or have I lost track again?
No, you're right. Stan, I don't have a clue what women think. I'm not old enough yet.
Nor likely to live that long at this rate.
You're so right. Uh-oh, here comes Eleanor, and there is that damn song in my head again, that Girl from Pasadena song.
I can't hear it. And don't you even hum it, Charlie?
Oh.
She'll think you're terminally demented.
I can't help myself. I'd give my left gonad, man.
Eleanor in glasses goes by on her walker, then disappears from view with Herb after kissing him on the cheek.
Charlie, you're right. She doesn't even know you exist. And you're on the clock. Time's running out for her to find out.
Well, that's okay, Stanley. That's one nice part about getting older. She doesn't have to know I exist. I am still allowed to dream, can't I?
Oh, dream away, buddy. It leaves the boredom of this reality show we call life. Later.
Stanley hobbles off to join up with Betty and Maggie in their wheelchairs as the PA system goes off.
All available residents and staff, please assemble in the lobby for an adieu. An adieu in the lobby in 2 minutes.
Betty and Stanley turn away from Maggie and start to leave for the lobby.
Hey, where are you going? That's the wrong way. We'll be late for Sunday dinner. And what's an adieu?
Gesundheit.
No, an adieu is a chance to say goodbye to a slider. Just takes a minute.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, most people who come here only do so for a little while, like you, Maggie. They do their time, they slide through, and then they go home. I call them sliders.
Nice.
Well, only a few of us lucky ones get to live here for a millennium or 3. To infinity and beyond. Yeah, we stay here. uninvited, like old, dry, used bubble gum.
So,
Gum carefully and strategically placed, crushed into the linoleum on the floor while we're still warm, so that we'll never be able to be separated from the surroundings as the cold sets in. Yeah. Never a slider are we destined to be ever. No.
Yeah, poetry.
So an adieu?
So when someone does leave, it's a big deal. And we have to have a little send-off for them. Come along, we'll show you how the short-term memories are ever so briefly made.
They join a small group of residents as a patient on a walker leaves the lobby, waving goodbye.
Goodbye, Mumbles.
God bless, Popeye.
Adios, Antonio.
So long, Mrs. McGillicuddy, wherever you are.
So, who is that lucky guy? The one that's actually leaving?
Usually we have no idea. A slider. We come for the pageant and stay for the heartache.
This time I happen to recognize that it is Raphael, one of our certified nursing assistants, wearing a fake beard. Sometimes they like to stage a slider exit just to raise the morale for a day or two.
I know him from somewhere. Well, wait a minute. Wait for it.
Raphael. His reputation exceeds him. Finally, we meet. So this particular adieu is just an act, a folly adieu?
Yep, pure showbiz. He's a pseudo slider. He's left a couple of times before. I guess it makes him a triple threat pseudo slider, like a utility infielder in baseball. A very valuable guy for such foolishness.
Oh, that was bingo, Raphael.
What's going on with Betty?
This is a long, tawdry story. This whole traumatic Raphael and the bingo drama.
Spare me the gory details.
But it would give you great insight into the innermost workings of our complicated politics here, our sordid little nursing home lives and their associated various vendettas. One gloved hand washes the other double gloved appendage, right? Sometimes I'll explain the whole story.
But Maggie, is an adieu not divine?
Divine? Dinner and a show? Are you kidding? Come on, you crazy couple. Let's go find some food.
Act 1, Scene 10. That evening, nursing resident Betty rolls her wheelchair up to the nursing station as Suzanne sits there reading the National Enquirer, feet characteristically up on the desk.
Suzanne, dear, some of my clothes are missing.
Betty, are you sure they are, honey? Maybe you just misplaced them.
Oh, of course I'm sure. And the weird thing is all of them are monogrammed. That makes them easy to spot. I can't help but see other people wearing them all the time.
What?
I want them all back, every single one of them. I have talked with administration and they promised me that they're working on this theft problem.
Let me get this straight, Betty. People are walking around with your clothes labeled with your name, Betty Tucci, on them. And you know this?
No, silly, not my given name, Suzanne. That would be far too obvious. My nickname, Betty Boop. These suckers are sneaky.
So, Miss Boop, all of the people walking around with Betty Boop clothes are wearing your clothes in broad daylight?
Pretty effing brazen of them, wouldn't you say?
And you have the slackers in administration working on the case, I suppose.
On it. I'll say on it. Upside down and all over it. They are sparing no expense.
Well, then I can't help but think that your worries are just about over, Miss Boop. I'd relax if I were you.
Oh, thank you, Suzanne. You are always so much help to everybody.
Oh, you're welcome, dear. Oh, some remote village somewhere in the deepest, darkest Amazon is sorely missing their blue ribbon, grade A, prime, bona fide, genetically misaligned village idiot.
Betty pauses a second to listen, seems discouraged, and then resumes her exit. Fade to gray. It is the next morning in the lobby. Eleanor quietly walkers up behind Charlie and Stanley doing their customary morning visitation.
Hear you, you know. I'm not deaf.
Oh, well, hello there. Excuse me?
I can hear you talking up that girl from Pasadena, one of my favorite songs.
I told her she'd hear you.
Oops. Well, I'm so sorry if I offended you, ma'am.
I'm Charles, and this is my friend Stanley.
No, you're not Charles. You're Charlie. And no offense, really. My name is Eleanor, and I'm actually from Anaheim, BD, not Pasadena.
Anaheim, BD?
Anaheim, BD, before Disney ruined it. But I can't help but wonder, what's wrong with your left gonad?
What?
You said that you feel like you would give your left gonad away for something. Why would you give away what you just might wish you had later? Just wondering.
After a stunned silence, Eleanor walkers away, leaving Charlie speechless for once. Stanley, who has witnessed this entire encounter, cracks up.
Oh, she really seemed to quiet down to earth. What just happened here? Are you up to the task, my friend?
I have no idea. I've never even considered it within the realm of even the near possible. But 50% of 80-year-old men are still sexually active, you know.
That is a bull hockey survey, Chucko. Poisoned by brackets. 90% of 80-year-old men can't remember where their penis is. 75% of the time. Yeah, do the math.
Stanley, you aren't quite as statistically challenged as I thought.
Truth is, if they didn't have kids, they wouldn't even know where it had been. Those kids are sort of like living bookmarks, and that's the voice of experience speaking here.
Stanley, yours is the voice of one experience. Try not to let your own personal statistics or lack thereof detract you from real data.
You know, Charlie, when you're right, you're right. There's no cause for bitterness here. More power to them and to you. Anyway, I have to go over to activities.
You want to go? I thought you were too nervous.
I was. Performance anxiety in front of the activities director, Mona. But I'm counting on muscle memory to get me through. Just my luck, my muscle memory will develop muscle Alzheimer's.
And what about this Mona? You say her name a little differently now. Mona.
You know, she was so enthusiastic. She used to scare me. Now, I think I can handle her enthusiasm. You see, I tend to be sedating to others. Therein lies my charm. Betty has always appreciated that. You know how bad her insomnia is.
Stanley, you old devil. Some juices are still flowing through those teeny little corn-fed arteries. Who knew what an animal you are?
Oh, yeah, raging herbivore. Huh?
You're one rockin' octogenarian.
Hey, that's unofficial, Charlie. I'm not 80 till November. So keep it under your hat, will you? Loose lips and death certificates, you know what I mean?
I didn't mean to jinx you. My word is my honor, man.
That line seems vaguely, ominously familiar.
In the meantime, I'll have to give some more thought to Miss Eleanor from Anaheim, BD.
You are in so far over your head, buddy.
Truth is, Stanley, it's so nice to be into anything at all. You know.
I completely do. I was in a coffin once. I tried it out for size more than comfort. Bought it on the spot, an impulse purchase, you know. Lining matched the color of my eyes.
I would hope that your eyes would be shed by then, man.
I'm sure their marketing department doesn't care. So, yeah, I agree being in is usually better living than living life out of everything.
Stanley turns and starts to shuffle away.
You okay?
Yeah, I've been out of so much of my life, out of money, out of touch, out of sorts, out of mind, out of secretariat, out of range, out of excuses, out of rhythm, out of time, out of chances.
I love you, man.
Light fades. As Stanley leaves, Charlie rolls over to the nursing station and up to Dr. Bradshaw standing there with papers.
Hey, Doc, got a minute? I know a minute is not a billable time frame.
Sure, Charlie, go for it.
Doc, suppose a guy and a gal wanted to, I mean, you know, two condescending adults and all.
Two consenting adults, Charlie?
Let me finish here, Doc. This is not so easy. Suppose a couple of unmarried people wanted to hook up.
I'm sorry, Charlie. I've had reason to worry about my hearing lately. Did you say shack up? Really? I'm teasing you, of course. We theoretically have provisions for private times for couples. It's just that it doesn't happen that often here. Not nearly often enough, if you ask me.
You got me on the edge of my quickie here, Doc.
Exactly. And yes, they have to be competent, consenting adults, and we need to have a discussion about protection.
Christ's sakes, Doc. I'm flattered as hell, but I'm not gonna knock anyone up. I had my tubes tied 2 generations ago.
Charlie, not protection from pregnancy, protection from diseases. When two people hook up, they bring their entire sexual history with them.
Oh, well, that's easy, Doc. There's only one Mary for me in my entire life, and for over 53 years, only my Mary.
Well, that's one of you.
Well, Doc, the other person lives here.
Duh.
Come on, Doc. How could you possibly know that?
First, Charlie, when is the last time you left the building? You don't get out that much, you know.
Tell me something I don't know. So, Doctor Know-It-All, which resident do you think I'm talking about?
Hippopotamus. That is HIPAA, protected information, dude. How dare you ask such private medical stuff?
What did I just do?
Just teasing you, Charlie. You got to relax a little. Life is way too short not to have a little fun. No, I could guess because I've only had this conversation with one other person in this facility in the last couple of years, a certain California girl.
Eleanor? She had the guts to ask you?
Girls are way ahead of us, buddy. Still, and I can personally attest that we're not catching up very fast.
When did she ask?
A few months ago.
A few months ago? My God, Doc, am I being hunted? Stalked by some femme fatale floozy with 4 wheels on the floor? Like that basic instincts premenopausal predator?
Relax, Charlie. She asked, but not about you. And nothing came up at the time. They let me know. This takes a lot more than hormones. It takes a great deal of courage and an attention span longer than a tadpole, I might add.
Okay. Oh, woo, woo. Okay. I got to get my mind around this.
Take all the time you need, but the meters are running out.
That's what I'm worried about, Doc. So Eleanor is patiently horny? I admire that quality. From your point of view, is this okay?
I'm not a priest, Charlie, just a similarly underpaid geriatrician.
I know. But what about our families?
Actually, Charlie, the room we have here is quite small. It could be uncomfortable if it got crowded, and the liability might be too much for the facility.
No, Doc. Jeez, are you loco? I mean, do we have our family's consent?
Oh, I see. So did you when you married Mary?
Well, yeah, sort of. But it was a different family then. And some 60 years ago, none of them are still alive.
Then cool. I doubt if they'll object.
I feel as though I need Mary's approval, though, Doc. After all these years, is that weird or what?
I can understand that. It might be proper for you to talk to your Mary about it. I'm sure that she'd be willing to hear you out.
And then maybe a prescription from you?
You think so? Studies say that over 50% of 80-year-old men.
I don't know, Doc. Maybe you shouldn't believe everything you read, you know. The spirit might be willing, but the flesh might be limp. Can we discuss it later?
For just a short, unbillable minute, you mean?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Charlie, and best of luck to you both.
Doc watches as Charlie rolls away. Fade to gray. Act 1, Scene 11, Greeter Frances at her busiest, seated at her small table in the bingo ice cream parlor, getting ready to bellow out her bingo numbers so that all can hear. Nadine, Eleanor, Stanley, Maggie, and Betty are seated at a card table in wheelchairs and chairs, and the numbers start being called from the bingo cage. After each number, a member at the table reacts with a comment.
All arise. Just kidding. Please keep your seats. Okay, players, you know the game. High stakes bingo. The winner of each round gets a brand new quarter. And the big winner of the day gets this lovely gift. Finally, we would like to welcome Maggie today, a bingo virgin, a very first time player.
Well, thanks for having me. I can honestly say it is a big surprise to me to be here. I have a lot to learn about myself.
Hang on to your hats. Ready? And the first number is I-16.
Well, I may just give a little nursing aid to Raphael as an alibi.
71.
Oh, I'm not sure an alibi from you would help his situation.
What is there about bingo that would require an alibi for anything, for goodness sake?
And 43.
In fact, was it not someone at this table that turned him in?
Someone rattled out a CNA for doing what?
G48.
Gee, Stanley, it serves him right, in my opinion. We're talking high crimes and treason, no less.
70.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that little vermin, Betty.
Oh, all right, guys, I admit it. I'm hooked now. What horrible act can raise the status of a CNA all the way up to the category of vermin?
64.
Oh, certainly he knew. It was the ethical equivalent of yelling fire in a theater. It was despicable. You were there, you know.
But you guys are killing me.
In 37.
In fact, it was the lying about him afterward that I believe was unethical.
I-19.
Aye, mates. Have your way with him. Have him drawn and quartered and walking the plank. But he was not sleeping on the job.
And 38.
In his defense, he really is very young, guys.
I-29.
I don't feel the least sorry for him. Ignorance of the rules is no excuse.
And 42.
In fact, he deserved it. Being banished from this room for infinity plus a fortnight is not exactly a hardship for him. It probably brings him great joy.
I-23.
I don't care. I'd like to see him do hard time.
Guys, I can't take this much longer. Is Raphael a gang member? Are we in some mortal danger? Inquiring minds want to know.
G-59.
Gee, Maggie. All the dumb kid did was simply stick his head into this very room and yell,
Bingo!
All right. Oh my God. A winner? Do we have a three-way tie?
Oh my gosh, no wonder you guys love bingo. This is so exciting.
Okay, guys. Time for us to go to do more sedentary activity. Jazzercise?
Don't we ever slow down? This is a killer pace and I don't have a will.
Stage darkens a little, then lightens up. Maggie turns away and almost rolls into social worker Joe.
Hey, maybe good social worker Joe got a minute. I heard Clarissa called you that. My apologies. The audacity of some people's children, huh?
Maggie, Clarissa never seems at a loss for an opinion.
Probably a lot like her father, right?
Right. Her father, as in, you mean like father, like son?
I was sort of teasing Maggie.
Well, that's a good one. Let me warn you, even if you don't want to go to that place, Joe, beware. Say, if it works out that there's some reason Clarissa determines that there's no room in her inn for her beloved mother, what are my options? There's no place I can truly afford to live now.
If you're financially eligible for Medicaid.
Financially eligible? Joe? You mean poor enough? Finally, I'm financially eligible for something in my life, and it's Medicaid.
Woohoo, huh?
That, and of course, the lottery. I've become the poster child for financial irresponsibility. Our medical bills ate us up and spit me out, Joe.
Well, as I was saying, Maggie, if you're now eligible for Medicaid, I'll help you fill out the papers. Medicaid can help you pay for a place.
Happy, happy, joy, joy. Joe, I feel like such a loser. And now that I've lost everything, that makes it official, doesn't it?
Well, staying here would be an option if that suits you. I mean, certainly you seem to have made friends here despite
my spite.
Despite your unhappiness.
Well, I suppose. But I couldn't just be in an institution all day, every day, Joe. My soul isn't ready for that yet.
Well, I'd have to say your soul has seemed pretty resilient so far.
I'll keep trying to wear Clarissa down. Who would ever believe, as much as I've had to say about Medicaid, that now I may be on the same roll with all those other deadbeats?
Situations change and it's no one's fault.
Don't tell me, tell my kid.
I think I will leave any kid telling up to you. I agree that should be high on your list though.
Clarissa and I have to make time for a heart-to-heart. There's so much we've got to figure out.
Let's go work on your Medicaid application. We need to find some place for you to live, and something's got to give.
Let's make a plan, Joe. I need a change I can live with. I really appreciate your help, and I've got to find some time for the face-to-face with my kid.
Off they go together. Fade to gray. Act 2, Scene 1, Physical Therapy Gym. People meeting up with Mona, the activities director. Michael is there, as are Herb, Eleanor, Maggie, Nadine, Clyde, others, all with their wheelchairs or walkers.
Okay, everybody, it's Monday.
Maggie, is it really Monday?
Eleanor, I feel tricked. I thought activities meant like crossword puzzles.
When is it breakfast? Did I have breakfast? Because if I did, I will probably throw up now.
If you didn't throw up at bingo, you're going to be okay, Nadine.
Half of me is still asleep. My left half.
Oh, Michael, our anti-boredom workout is what we do on Monday mornings. Is everyone ready?
Fade out, fades back in the aftermath, bodies flung around.
Oh, wow. Great workout this morning.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Mona.
Thanks, Mona.
I just love that Michael Jordan music.
Good job, everybody. Maggie, way to hang in there. You inspire us all.
See you in a second, guys. Thanks, Clyde. You make a great case for bingo, Mona. That was exhausting.
Lights down as Clyde and Maggie linger, the others file out. Lights out. Act 2, Scene 2, sorry. Betty is sitting in her room knitting when Eleanor, Michael, and Nadine come back from activities and they all squeeze into Betty's room. Maggie joins in on the perimeter some seconds later.
Judging by the heavy breathing, I can see that I must have missed something wonderful, Eleanor.
Just the usual Monday workout, Betty, to get the week going. And I mean those of us who are really weak and the juice is flowing. Thank God for mini pads.
And Swiffers. Where's your butter half?
Stanley is out and about on his morning survey of his huge nursing home properties with Charlie, including the dumpsters, the loading dock, and the parking lot. You know, someday he expects to pass all of this on to the grandchildren, you know.
Is Stanley thinking okay? What would he want with the nursing home?
Stanley is fine. He just keeps going like that little pink bunny, but it's good to have some goals.
You two sure seem to get along well. Has it always been like that?
Eleanor, if you live with somebody for 67 years, you kind of round off all the edges.
Like polishing down rocks.
Exactly, Nadine. For both of us. And it's good for developing selective organic brain syndrome. You know what I mean.
You don't.
We don't.
My brain syndrome is non-selective. It has an infinite capacity to disremember almost anything. Try me if you like, or maybe you have. I forget.
We have, and you did. That's your special kind of genius, Nadine.
That's what makes me such a good listener too. I'm one of those idiots, Silence, in forgetting. I forgot libraries worth of stuff. It's a gift. The real trick is remembering which parts to forget.
So, what do you mean, Betty?
Well, I mean, you just can't spend all day forgiving everything a man does or doesn't do. That leaves time for nothing else, and it makes him the center of our universe.
Obviously.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Life is way too short.
And it's no fun keeping score because we always get so far ahead so fast, they just give up. They're the strongest sex, remember?
Nope.
Anyway, my theory is you have to develop selective organic brain syndrome and just let things go like hell gone.
So your dear Stanley isn't perfect.
No, but he is perfect for me. He didn't start out that way.
A work in progress after all these years?
I remember in the beginning, now, when we were so young and he was so shy, my gosh, I'm reminded of our wedding night. I haven't thought of that in years. So funny.
Oh, tell us.
Tell us.
Wow.
Puts down her knitting to be more expressive.
We were both virgins, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, we couldn't afford a honeymoon, so we spent our wedding night upstairs in his parents' house with their bedroom directly beneath us downstairs.
How incredibly cozy.
There was not even a bathroom in the little room upstairs. He was so shy. When he got ready for bed in the closet, we were trying to be so discreet.
Aww.
But the flooring of the closet wasn't completely built out like the rest of the house. It was never meant to support the weight of a person. So as he got completely undressed,
oh no,
I heard this muffled shrieking scream like that witch in the Wizard of Oz as Stanley and his teeny weeny crashed through his parents' closet directly below ours. Then there was not a sound. I mean, nothing. Dead silence.
Oh no.
I screamed. I thought my Stanley had died then. Then I suddenly heard his dad roar, and then his mother scream. And then there was this wild scampering back up the stairs. He ran into the door to our room with only minor genital damage. Since we had locked it, right? Of course, it took me a minute to find that old skeleton key as his dad started up the stairs behind him with the shotgun, for effect, I'm sure.
My God, Betty, don't keep us in suspense. What happened?
Well, Stanley made it inside. His dad pounding on the door, but we locked it again. And his dad grumped all the way back down the stairs, groan, on every step, groan.
Your very own shotgun wedding. How romantic.
And now, we had this 24/7 open air communication into his parents' room until we got it all repaired about a week later. The only noise I heard for the rest of our wedding night was the sound of his parents giggling, then snoring. So yes and no. I guess it wasn't as romantic as some others, Nadine.
The group was cracking up. Then Stanley walkers into the room and is met with peals of riotous laughter again.
Why are we laughing?
I guess you had to be there, Nadine. You know, Betty and I have been working on a theory called selective organic brain syndrome, SOBS for short. Have we told you about it?
Maggie backs out of the room, rolls away a little facing the audience, then stops for a few seconds to listen to the continuing happy chatter. Act 2, Scene 3. Suzanne is seated at the nursing station, and Juanita walks up.
Suzanne, we need to talk. You cannot be serious. Dating patients is unethical, even if it isn't illegal. What are you thinking? And what are you trying to do with that poor old man and to you?
Herb is free, white, and over 81, Juanita. He's able to legally make his own decisions still. What is it to you?
It may not yet be an official diagnosis yet, but you know he has Alzheimer's.
Why do you say that? You think that because he wants me, right?
No, Suzanne, I say that because it's true. If you're in this field long enough, you can see it coming. But I never saw this coming, girl. I've got to admit it.
Juanita, girl, I'm not getting any younger. I might point out neither are you. Still waiting on your Prince Chapstick or whatever his name might be.
Hardly. And you know it's Prince Charming.
Make it real. I'll settle for some short comfort and no long discussions.
Suzanne, I've known you for a long time, and you've done some dumb things, as have we all. But I've never seen you do such a mean thing.
Juanita, I'm tired of public service, and I thought I might try a little private duty for a while, so see how that feels, and at the same time make an old fool happy.
You know this will not end well.
Really? Now you can predict the future? Then you must know the difference between you and me, girl. Predict that.
Let's hear your version.
The difference is that I may have come from humble beginnings, darling, just like you, but there ain't nothing humble about my ambition. That right there is what separates us.
Suzanne saunters off as Juanita stares at her exit. Fade to gray. Act 2, Scene 4. Michael lets himself into Clyde's room with a knock on the door.
Hey, Clyde, you got a minute? Mano a mano?
Well, sure, Michael. I'll bet I can guess what this is about.
I feel that you and I understand each other, and I have a different take on the whole death thing than you probably do.
I can read this later. With generations of your family in the mortuary business, I would be amazed if you didn't have a different point of view of death, Michael. The Shaw Mortuary is legendary.
Then you at least admit that a different approach is possible.
So share it. Mortuo a mano, as they say. I'm all ears.
All right, now let me ask you first. Do you think that anyone makes it off this planet alive, Clyde?
Damn few, it would seem. Astronauts? Maybe. But they eventually come back. Most of them.
Now, right. So we can spend our remaining hours on Earth raging against the dying of the light.
Like that Dylan Thomas father.
Exactly. Or Clyde Perkins, maybe. See, or you can make lemonade out of lemons, as my family has done. Face the inevitable, not with trepidation, but with a business plan. Let me show you how peaceful your ending could be.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I'm sure that you're always looking out for my best interests. But you know, I'm really out of time this afternoon. How can we help each other?
Okay, now don't get too nervous, Clyde. This is how. And it's important to me that you know that I've got your back on this.
How could you possibly have my back, Michael?
Michael hands him a disposable cell phone.
Now, I think that the real fear that people have is not a dying, but a being buried alive.
Really? That's it?
Yeah. And see, that's why every burial our family has done for the last 5 years has had this side opening in the casket with a cord that goes out to a loop on the ground above that's attached to a burner phone, just like this one.
I'm all ears. This is fascinating. But I'll bet that gets a little expensive.
Not at all. Now, see, that one's been used at least a dozen times. And that's all part of a fee, only with a little extra charge.
And what's the cord for again?
So, if we get no calls from the recently buried, which we do hope, of course, we come back in a few days, pull out the cord, recover the phone, and our cost. Then we recharge it for the next burial. And we recharge for the use of the phone each time. So no one ever has to worry about being buried alive. This burner phone is for you as a token, man, to relieve you of your fears.
I'm so touched. So far beyond what mere words can express. Thank you for coming and sharing your party line and caring. Michael, take your funeral phone, your death dialing early warning system, and get the hell out of here. Now, please.
I'm just trying to help, bro. It's a shame to see someone petrified of dying.
You just don't get it. I'm not afraid of dying. What keeps me awake at night is having never lived and of never being remembered. But I'm working on that. I have a business plan of my own, believe it or not. Now, please leave.
Well, I'll be going then. Sorry if I upset you.
I'm not making myself very clear on this, and that's all I'm trying to do. Obviously, I have more work to do. Goodbye.
Tough love, man.
That's what they say.
Aide to Gray. Act 2, Scene 5, Maggie's room, where she in her wheelchair and Clarissa in a chair are sitting some distance apart.
Mom, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. I've never denied it, have I?
Clearly you haven't. But what do you suggest I do? I have to live somewhere.
There's no room in our home for you, even on a temporary basis. That smell in the air, it's the smell of scorched bridges that you and Dad burnt like tire fires so many years ago.
Clarissa, I understand your feelings, but those were different times. I was ignorant. I was trying to hold a family together. Fast forward to now. Could you honestly imagine me living here for the rest of my life?
Why not? They seem to like you well enough, Maggie. Clyde especially. Give it a chance. Give them a chance. People do live real lives here. I was ignorant about that.
I have given it a chance, and I'm trying. But Clarence, come on, son. I can't live my life in a nursing home. I simply can't. At least not yet. Give me one more chance.
How damn funny it is if it wasn't so sad and so late. You haven't called me by dead name in decades, Maggie. That simply tells me just how desperate you must be. You made a point of still calling me Clarence years after I fully transitioned. That really hurt.
Clarissa, I was a mom, a realtor, a homemaker. I was trying to hold a difficult marriage together. Your father, included me in that too. We were just not ready, just not brave enough. We thought this new reality of yours, this stage you were going through would destroy you.
No, Mom, you thought it would destroy you.
Maybe we did. In some ways, maybe it did.
That's why you must know that it's not fair to you to ask me to do this now, Mom. I love you, but I can't. I won't. I will not have you live with us. Find some other solution.
Clarissa stands, turns, shakes her head, and walks out the door. Bumps into Joe, who's also trying to leave without a sound. Maggie lowers her head to her chest and cries. Fade to gray. Act 2, Scene 6. Next morning, Stanley and Charlie conspiring in the lobby.
Well, buddy, tonight's the big night. You all locked and loaded?
Say what?
Did Doc come through? Did you take your mucho graciales?
That is between a patient and his physician, Stan. HIPAA stuff. Anyway, the pill has another name. You think one is enough?
You know, I figure one is good, but two is better. One for each huevo, if you still have that left huevo, I mean.
Okay, partner. One for the road. Wish me luck.
Luck? Hey, you're damn lucky just to get this far, man. We leave nothing to luck. The crash cart will be right around the corner. Motor running in case of dire need. Get it? Dire need.
Nice jerk.
So, what is your code status? your blood type. Where's your will, your living will? Who's your next of kin? How about your PIN number, passwords, your last words?
Thank you, Stanley, for that vote of confidence. I'm a fool in love, so I must be a fool code. My blood type is oh so positive. And where there's a living will, there's a living way. So screw you on the rest of that stuff. Those can be my last words. Be positive.
Dr. Bradshaw walks up as Charlie wheels away.
I'm positive. I am positive. I'm positive you're going to die, Charlie. Oh, he's going to be all right, won't he, Doc?
I'm sure.
What's this new medicine? Is it safe?
Well, its generic name is Ovalcap, and it is all the medicine his manhood needs, Stanley.
Wait, Doc, isn't that what you gave me for my migraines last year?
Exactly. Nothing wrong with your memory, my friend. It is also a placebo spelled backwards.
Jeez, man. I hope you know what you're doing.
Me too. But I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, and he won't be able to use a headache as an excuse, will he?
You're amazing, bud. Just amazing. I love the way your mind works.
Say, Doc, if Ovalcap is placebo spelled backwards, then does that make it a real medicine?
Stanley?
Yeah, Doc.
You want to forget about that part I just said about loving how your mind works.
Yes, sir. I probably already have.
Fade to gray. Act 2, Scene 7. Back as a group in activities getting ready to work out, Clyde approaches Maggie.
Done really well with your rehab, Maggie. Have you decided to try living back on your own again? I'm not sure that you know how much you'll be missed here.
You know, I realize now that I really am on my own. With my husband gone, I'm truly alone. Something I've been afraid of my whole grown-up life. I'm still getting used to that notion.
Michael walks up and joins in on the conversation.
Now, you know you may have started out as a slider, but sometimes people stay here and live on, deciding that there are worse places they could be. Actually and truly. Hey, Clyde.
Hey, Michael. You would never be lonely here, Maggie. That's for sure. I'm personally committed to seeing that wouldn't happen.
Clyde, I need a chance to face my fears. I need some time for reflection and for looking at my reflection, to see who I've become and to see if I like me or if I'm even likable.
Aren't you being a little hard on yourself, Maggie?
I have to explore this. I need to find if there's anything of substance before I can be something up to someone. Does that make any sense?
More than you know. That's not something you have to do alone. Let us know how we can help.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you all for the invitation. I have so much to think about. So much to decide.
She turns and leaves in her wheelchair, tears freely flowing.
So, what do you think, Michael?
Slider.
Eleanor walks up.
Don't be so sure. So far, she's undecided. I'm her roommate, remember? I know stuff.
Okay, folks, today's takeout day. We're gonna take out some mature aggressions. Let's go kick some middle-aged butt.
The group armors up as we fade to black. Act 2, Scene 8. Later that evening, it's dark. Suzanne is standing at the nursing desk, rearranging things, keeping busy while Betty, sitting in her wheelchair, goes on and on. Suzanne looks at her watch.
And so after all of these weeks, Suzanne, they tell me that administration has solved the mystery of my missing Betty Boop clothes.
Gee whiz, Miss Boop, but isn't it past your bedtime?
You're right. I need some rest, but this is just too exciting for me to sleep. That's all. I think I'll be up all night.
So what has got you so pumped, Betty? You are a frazzle of your former self.
Oh, I'm so exhausted. Administration tells me that after 3 months of having 24 hours per day videotaping in the laundry room, they are finally coming to a decision about what has happened to my missing clothes. I can hardly wait. They took a lot longer than I thought it would.
Suzanne stops as her gaze rests on the horizontal.
Say what?
Well, we're supposed to have a meeting to discuss the findings in the morning, 9 o'clock, and everyone's invited for the playback of the laundry room video footage. They said they have super slow-mo, Suzanne.
Video footage?
They especially said they wanted you to be there, Suzanne, and I think you should. You've helped me so much through all of this. Can you come? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you can.
Suzanne stands at the desk with a 1,000-foot stare, mouth agape, disbelieving what she's just heard. As her liaison, Raphael, arrives and sidles into the laundry room, she plops backwards into her chair.
You really should try hard to make it, Suzanne. I hear it's good for the soul.
Fade to gray. Next morning, still at the nursing station, Dr. Bradshaw walks in and heads for his chair. Juanita is seated, busy with paperwork.
Hi, Juanita. How are you this morning?
Pretty good, really. You're here early.
Oh, just trying to catch up. Is there coffee?
Just made some.
Ah, wonderful. I could use it. Thanks. How was last night?
Not too bad. Say, Dr. Bradshaw, can I ask you a question?
You mean another besides that one? Go right ahead. I might be able to make up an answer once I've had some coffee.
Well, what would you say if a staff member were to actively try to get romantically involved with one of the patients? You know, like a relationship?
By the way you asked the question, it seems as if someone might be taken advantage of.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, obviously, you'd have to report what you know about that. Is there something you'd like to tell me?
Oh, no, Doc. I was just thinking out loud. For a class I'm taking, an ethics course?
Sounds interesting. What are you studying?
Oh, online.
It amazes me how classes sometimes closely reflect real-life situations, huh?
Yeah. I'll keep you posted, Doctor. Thanks.
Yeah, well, thank you for the coffee. Oh, by the way, Juanita, Suzanne turned in her resignation when she left work this morning. No 30 days notice, no nothing.
She what?
You okay?
I'm okay. Really, I'm good. But what did you just say?
Well, if it helps with any of your ethics course, we'll need to start looking for Suzanne's replacement immediately. And congratulations, head nurse.
As he walks off, Juanita looks after him, mouth open, speechless. A few steps away, Bradshaw comes up behind Betty.
Hey, good morning, Betty Boop.
Betty wheels around in her chair.
Hi, doctor. You know, you and Stanley are the only ones who ever call me that.
Yes, Betty, I do know that. I know a few other things too, Miss Boop.
Do tell.
Well, I know that administration could never and would never secretly install a video monitoring system in the laundry room. It's way too expensive. We could barely afford laundry soap. What do you think about that?
E pluribus unum, Dr. B.
Meaning?
It means the end justifies the means.
No, Betty, I don't think it means that.
Well, it might. If you were the village idiot, it might.
Ah, got it. Yeah, then I think I got it too. Then, bon appetit, Betty.
What does that mean?
Means a job well done, Betty.
I'll be sure to remember that. Nah, not really.
Well, unless you need to.
Precisely.
Bradshaw leans over and kisses Betty on top of her head, careful not to spill his coffee.
Oh, I love you, Betty Boop Tucci.
Betty audibly sighs. Bradshaw walks away. Betty rolls off as people move through the set, in and out, stop and go. The set slowly darkens. Act 2, Scene 9, move to the spotlights. First Eleanor and then Charlie packing lightly for their overnight tryst in the room at the end of the hall. The lighting moves back and forth from one to the other eventually as they end up joining, she walkering, he riding down to the end of the hall, holding hands together to their room for the night. A small group of well-wishers. Cotton balls are thrown in celebration as they enter their room. Stanley is peeking over the transom with the periscope mirror above the door as he stands on a chair. He retreats just in time as the door busts open and the couple roll out into the hall, laughing and tangled in their sheets. Stage darkens. All is quiet. Act 2, Scene 10. Light comes up. It's morning, with a small cluster of residents huddled in the lobby, talking in hushed tones.
My gosh, did you hear?
Hear what? Where are my darn hearing aids? Hear what?
Of course. I mean, everyone is stunned. We talked about life and living, dying and ending all the time, but it was really hard to predict this one. I'll let my family know.
Predict what? And why would your family care about someone dying?
No one expected this, except maybe him.
Expected what, Nadine?
His death, Betty.
Did Mr. Clyde finally figure it out? Apparently, Clyde died.
Maggie walks up to the group with her walker, no longer a wheelchair. She overhears and reaches out for balance.
No.
As Clyde walks up, he puts his arm around her to steady her.
No, not Clyde.
Then did anybody actually really did well, for God's sake, die around here?
Doc, Betty, Dr. Bradshaw died.
Dr. Doolittle died. Unexpectedly, of course. He was never that good of a diagnostician.
Nadine, shame on you. But how can that be?
Hard, I guess.
Charlie rolling up with Eleanor beside him.
Like Doc always said, there are no guarantees in life.
Yeah, Christ, people, don't be so shocked. He was older than half of us.
The younger half, though.
There will be a memorial service here, right?
I'm not sure that he would have wanted that.
I will send out all the funeral invitations.
Clyde turns and leaves with Maggie.
The what?
Light fades as the group seems at a loss. Act 2, Scene 11. Social worker Joe and Maggie are talking in Maggie's room.
Well, Maggie, your time for your recovery is over. With your medical problems and your finances, You could stay here on Medicaid if you want.
Joe, I just can't make up my mind to do that yet. I want to so bad be independent. I think a less formal setting will work for me, with my own apartment, a space I can call my own. I have online billing work I can do from home. Clarissa has arranged that for me.
Yeah, I understand the comfort of familiar places. I've been here some 11 years now, and I also may need a change.
Yeah, but you get to go home at night. That's a little different.
You're so right. Huge difference. Well, please let me know what I can do to help. Whatever it is that you decide to do, we will support you.
Thank you, Joe. Joe?
Yes, ma'am.
Doc is dead. He was your friend as well as your coworker. How are you holding up?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss him. He was such a steady influence, and I fear for who might take his place. Well, I'll just have to see how things work out. But I'm okay. I believe he's at peace, calming everyone else around him down up there. Thank you for asking, Maggie.
I appreciate you. Marvelously good social worker and really good person.
Joe leaves without another word.
Oh my. Oh, Clarissa. Oh, Clarence. Oh, Clyde.
Lights fade. Act 2, Scene 12, Bradshaw's Memorial. Clyde is at the podium as a cluster of residents are getting settled in arranged folding seats before him.
A couple of years ago, I went to Dr. Bradshaw, tell him how I felt about the idea of dying.
Better late than never.
It was not about me that I was afraid, Michael. I've told you. I was afraid that if I died, all memories of Emma would die with me. And she would then be truly, finally gone. She deserves more. He suggested to me how I might work on that paralyzing fear by writing like he did.
And talking?
Stop interrupting. I'm telling this story. Yes, and talking. I've done both of those, and it does help. I understand now that this was all leading me to my new business of funeral card memorializations.
Dog groans from the crowd.
I knew it. Clyde found a way to make a buck off of it.
They groan at the Valentine cards too.
The boys did.
She elbows Charlie.
But it will help. Each year, I resolve that you will receive an invitation to Emma's and now Doc's annual funeral celebration, completely free, I might add.
Yeah, well, you get what you pay for.
I don't even know what that means. But I found this note that Doc wrote years ago. He gave it to me when Emma died. Now it feels to me like our instructions from him. Doctor wrote, "Strange is the way of living things. There's this magic in our lives, that we can live our numbered days and yet are still surprised. That this doesn't last forever, that we must take our leave. But there isn't always sadness. Let's give death a reprieve."
Here, here. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me finish. No one here wants this to be some sad and sorry sight, but I have never died before, and I'd like to do this right. So let's spend our precious time with friends that we hold dear and show our comrade death again. He is nothing we need fear. And to that, I'll add an amen.
Amen.
Quiet and a rustling of papers, then murmurs, then the crowd stands up, breaks up, and starts the socializing that Doc would have wanted.
All available residents and staff, please continue in the lobby for an adieu in the lobby right now.
Leaving Stanley on a chair on stage left, watching in the foreground as Maggie is standing with her walker, saying her adieus, being hugged by all of her now friends in a line.
Goodbye, Mumbles. It seems like you just got here.
So long, Dick Tracy. You know, you're right as usual, Betty.
God bless Popeye. Please keep in touch. Good roommates are hard to find.
Love you, Olive Oil. I certainly will.
Adio, Antonio. We will miss you dearly, dear.
Et tu, Brutus? And you, Michael?
So long, Mrs. McGillicuddy. You really are going to do this? You really are heroine, Maggie. A true slider.
And especially to you, Jimmy. You know, I have to try Clyde, but I know I can always come back if I need to.
I can be annoyingly persistent.
I've come to recognize your most endearing qualities, Clyde. This isn't the last you'll see of me. I'll stay in touch.
The group.
With all due respect to Louis Armstrong, I hear dreams of Betty, Eleanor too. I see their hopes for them and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful groove. I hear Maggie's words, born of such fright, strong healing words, dark sleepless nights. And I think to myself, what a wonderful home. The color of our skin tone includes you and I. It shows all of our faces as lives go passing by. I see roommates living lives, saying, how can I help? There he reached, really saying, we all need help. I hear late laughs and cries. I watch them age. I hear grown men sigh, some wise, some sage. And I think to myself, what a wonderful stage.
Maggie waving as she bravely leaves for her new life with her new walker. Michael joins Stanley and both face the audience.
Good night, everyone. St.Beseenya loves the company. Y'all come and see us real soon. Your own St.Beseenya, see it yet, might be anywhere in your neighborhood, anytime in your life, and inevitable for many of you. But life continues wherever living goes on.
We can talk about the Shaw mortuary legacy at some future date. Remember, we have landline services too, in case you're worried about dead spots.
Nice, Michael. Good night, everyone. We, of course, be seeing you.
Curtain, the end. I believe that I did mention that our cast was large and color-coded. Act 2 emphasized the fact that people of color are the most vulnerable of the vulnerable. It gives me great pleasure to finish introducing our cast of characters. Maggie Miller, new resident, and Nadine Romero, with Gianbari Deborah Deebom. Deborah, wave. Betty Fucci and Joe Allison, Miss Anita Smith. Clarissa, Maggie's child, and Eleanor Reyes, nursing home resident. Jennifer Mitsios. Juanita Haldt, Asha, Dalton. Suzanne Bristol, RN, Nikia Tarkington. Francis Montag, greeter and bingo director, Talithia Thrasher. Dr. Bradshaw and Michael Shaw, nursing home resident, Richard Thompson. Reggie, our ambulance attendant, and Clyde Perkins, nursing home resident, Marcus Wilson. Stanley Fucci, nursing home resident, Darwin. Litchfield, nursing home resident, Victor Bolag. Thanks again to all of our wonderful performers for agreeing to participate in St.Beseenya Circle 2018.